You are going running. For every mile you run, you burn 100 calories. In the equation below, m represents the number of miles you run, and c represents the number of calories you burn. The relationship between these two variables can be expressed by the following equation. Which C is the number of calories. This is C. This is the number of calories you burn. And M represents the number of miles you run. Okay. Identify the dependent and independent variables. Okay, so C is the dependent variable because it's dependent upon the magnitude of this variable. M represents burn. Okay, so the total number of calories, C, is dependent upon the number of miles you run. So C is the dependent variable and M is the independent variable. Okay. So the number of miles you run is the independent variable and the number of calories you burn is the dependence variable. Okay. You are walking directly away from your house. You are 5 miles away from your house when you start walking. So you can determine the distance from your house by adding 5 to the number of miles you have walked. In the equation below, x represents the number of miles you have walked. X is the number of miles you have walked, and y represents your distance from your home. Okay, so the distance from your home is dependent on the number of miles you have walked. Plus 5. 5 is the initial distance, plus of 5 miles, x is the number of miles. Okay, so y is dependent and x is independent because y is dependent upon the total number of miles you have walked. Okay, so the longer you walk, the value of x is increasing, and you add 5, so it affects the value of y. So y is dependent, the value of y is dependent upon the value of x. Okay, so y is dependent, your distance from y represents your distance. Okay, so your distance is the dependent variable, and x, the number of miles you walk, is the independent. Okay. You are buying boxes of cookies at a bakery. Each box of cookies costs $4. In the equation below, C represents the number of boxes of cookies you buy. Number of boxes. And D represents the amount the cookies will cost you in dollars. Okay. So D is dependent upon the number of boxes you buy. So the greater the number of boxes you buy times the cost per box will affect the value of D. So D is dependent and C is independent. So the number of boxes of cookies you buy is the independent variable, and the amount the cookies will cost in dollars is the dependent, because the amount the cookies will cost is dependent upon the number of boxes of cookies you buy. Okay, you are holding a fundraiser for cancer research. A certain charity organization has agreed to contribute $10 more than the amount of money you raise to cancer research. In the equation below, F is the amount of money that you raise during the fundraiser, and C is the amount of money that the charity organization donates. Okay, so C is dependent upon the money that you raise. So C is the amount of money that the charity organization donates, and it is dependent upon the amount that you raise. F is the amount of money that you raise during the fundraiser. Okay, so the more money you raise, the greater the value of C will be. So it means that C is dependent, and F is independent. Okay. So the amount of money the charity donates is dependent, and the amount of money you raise for the fundraiser is the independent variable. So in the next video, I will do this exercise, tables from equations with two variables. So I will see you in the next video.